This is another rusty BMW, believe it or not. They all seem to rust. In the previous episode, which I'll leave a link in the description, we fabricated these rear sills and inside, outside, etc., whatever else. So that's all done. And we've actually got some structure back in here instead of it being crumpled, and it actually pushed itself through the inner door aperture as well. Anyway, that's a different story. So do get us on social media, Instagram and Facebook as well. In this episode, we're going to move these ramp arms onto these sections so we can take off these little pirate stands here. And then we're going to tackle the front sills and the rest of the rust on this car, because this car is really rusty. So let's go. Right, so because we've remanufactured all this, we can actually put these jacking points back in, just like that, just temporarily, on both sides, so then we can move these ramp arms to here, because this floor section isn't as strong as what the jacking point is. So I'm going to do the same to the other side, and then I can move the ramp arms onto here and then get these out the way. Right, so now that I've done that, I can take the car back down, because I'm going to take the front wings off to expose the top of the sills and see if there's any more rust. Right, so we've just about got all the bolts out for the wing. Now, in BMW's infinite wisdom, they've decided to tuck the wing underneath the hinge for the bonnet, which means you've got to take the bonnet hinge off, which means misaligning the bonnet. So it kind of makes it a two-person job, especially for reinstallation. But it means that you've also got to line up your bonnet with your wing and everything else, and your lights and everything as well, you know, when you put your wing back on. So I'm going to do this side, and then I'll be able to see how much rust is actually on the wing, and then I can jump onto the other side and do the exact same while I've got the tools in my hands, and then we can start the rust repair. Right, so we've got most of the bolts out of there. We've got all the ones at the top. There's one that connects the wing to the front bumper. There's two that are on the inside here, so you'll have to take the inner wheel well out to get access to them. There is one up here. There's the two that are on the bonnet, but also there is one in here, which is rather difficult to get to when it's on a ramp, but it is possible because there is a little rubber thing here right, this right here, if you fold this up, it gives you enough access to get a nice long extension with a wobbly end just in there to get that 10mm bolt out. Right, as you can see, we've exposed this sill and it is quite rusty. Now, don't just cut this off, throw it away and try and make a new piece, because this is really important to maintain. So you can cut it off, take it to the bench and replicate something else. But as you can see, it is quite pitted here, so I do need to replace all this. This that you can see here, don't just snap it off and get rid of it, because this is actually showing me where this panel should end. So it's really fragile, but I can see that that panel ends further this way than what this one does. So obviously it's really important not to get rid of it. But what I can do is, from the previous episode, I've actually got this piece here which I used, which is an offcut from the rear sill, and as you can see, that fits really well. And I'll leave a link in the description to the previous episode, but you can see the swage lines on the bottom here, which match these ones here, and I just need to extend it up here, so it would be senseless for me to throw this away. Do watch the previous episode if you want to see how to make this, but it's basically in the bead roller. You roll these two beads here, and then I bent this in the bender, basically bent it a little bit, pulled it out, bent it, pulled it out, bent it, just to get that bigger curvature there. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark out exactly what I need to cut out, and then I'll cut it out, and then I can cut this piece to this piece, and obviously make sure I take this into consideration, and then I'll have to just make a little makeup piece up at the top. But as you can see, this does cover most of what I need it to cover, and that goes down there as well. So I'll just mark that out just there, cut that out, bada bing, bada boom. Right, that little bit that I told you not to maintain and not to break off, I accidentally broke it off when I was wire wheeling, but I'm going to maintain it because it's here in my hand, and I can put that on there and see exactly where that ends. But the main thing is, I can also use the other side as a reference point as well if I need to. So I'm going to maintain that, and I'm going to cut it off. Right, now I've got that piece welded on, I can make this piece up and make this piece up with a piece of another piece of steel. So I've welded this on, or tacked it on for now, and then I can just simply offer another piece up and then mark it just here. But I've also got this bend to take into consideration as well. So this bend is, there's a bit of a shelf there that's about 10 mil. So if I just stick that panel up 10 mil more, then I mark out down here, and then I can pop it on the edge of this cut. I can mark out the edge of that there, and then I can simply go down there like that and go across. And as you can see, a really wobbly line. Let me try that again. There we go. That's better. So then that should be my makeup piece. And then if I was to place my line on the bottom there, I can then simply strike a line across there. I can draw another wobbly line across just like that, and then that is my bend up there, and then that is my panel. The same goes for this down here, but this is a flat panel, so I can simply offer this up, get the marks that I need on this piece of sheet steel, get it all cut out, get it bent, get it welded on, bada bing, bada boom. I've also got this edge to take into consideration as well, so I had different ways of doing this. I could have either left this long and bent it over, or what you can do is you can place this on, scribe on the inside, and then weld a piece around there. It all depends on how you want to do it. But if you were to bend it round, it would warp this corner, because this is obviously, it'd be shrinking it round. So yeah. Anyway, let's crack on. Right, so I've welded that on. Now I do need to grind it down, and I need to make that end plate there, but I'm thinking 2 steps ahead. So you can see that there's some holes in this inner arch lining, and they used to be attached to this sill. Now, because the sill was so rotten, they weren't there anymore. So I need to make these little upstands on the end and make sure that I go far enough so I can actually put a clip on and, you know, drill some holes and get that to attach to something. So whenever you're fabricating something, always think about what needs to attach to that. And also, I did my 300mm marks here, and I've checked the 300mm. I'm slightly short on the top, only by 2 or 3 mil, and on the bottom I need to just trim it. But I know that those reference points are right, and obviously I need this wing to marry up with this as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark this and mark this on the underside and the outside, so I know where they are, and then I can make my outer section, make sure that it's 300mm from this point here and this point here, and then I can get it all welded up. So I'm going to get a flat piece of sheet steel, offer it up, scribe around the outside, and yeah, bada bing, bada boom. Right, so I've just marked out that piece of steel. So I've actually done it bigger than what I need to, because I can always trim it down afterwards. So I'm going to cut it out at that size, get it welded on, and then I can, like I say, I can trim it down afterwards. But the most important thing is getting that wheel arch back on, marking out where the holes are, and then obviously I can take that into consideration when I am trimming it down. Where's my glasses? Right, we've moved the ramps on the back to where they should be. We've moved the ramps onto these nice thick chassis rails here, where it should be as well. And because these are quite far back, well, slightly further back than these and they're further in, I made sure to do a bit of a test on the back just to make sure that it's not too far forward, or there's not too much weight forward. But as you can see, it's nice and solid on there. I wanted to do that before taking it too far up, just in case. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take these jacking points out because I want to see what's underneath them. And as you can see, they are pretty rusty around here. All that there, that's just like the underseal that's holding rust. So if I can take this off, then we'll be able to see what I need to remanufacture. But the good thing is that I've managed to do it. The bad thing is I can't get this thing off. The good thing is I've done all this. So I'm going to cut here because I can't get this off, and then we'll come back, cut. Right, I've got the correct tool this time. So these jacking points basically come out. It's got a pin in the middle which kind of spreads it, and then if you're lucky like me, it'll sound really crunchy. There you go. So these two little plastic things spread out when you put the little bung in the center, and that obviously makes it hug the inside of that. But as you can see, yet another rusty BMW. Oh nice, this one even extends. Okay. He's falling apart at the seams. Right, so I'm going to clean all this up with a wire wheel. I'm going to mark exactly what I need to make. The good thing is it's straight, so I can just make it bada bing, bada boom. But hopefully there's nothing further up. And I've probably got to remake this in a section here as well, just like I did on the back. Anyway, let's crack on. Nice and rusty, yes, fantastic. Right, so I've marked out what I want to, I've cleaned it up first with a wire wheel. I've marked out exactly what I want to cut out, and I'm trying to keep as close to the rust as possible, but obviously cut out all the rust because you want to keep the repair to a minimum, and you've also got all these swage lines. I mean, you could like cut across here and have a big square, but then you'd have to make all these lines up here as well. So I'm keeping it to a minimum. And obviously that's less welding as well, and then we'll see exactly what's inside there. Hopefully we've not got a case of having to bash this back down, because it does look a bit squashed. I'm hoping it's not done any damage up on the sill up there, just like it did on the back in the previous episode. But yeah, we'll cut it all out and we'll see exactly what we need to do. Right, so now we've got all of that cut out and we've got it treated. We've used the RC900, which is a rust converter, and I've sprayed it inside that cavity where I can get, and also once I've cleaned it up, I've sprayed it on all there. And that's what turns it black. It's like an epoxy coating, and they also say that it's like a primer coating as well, which is good. So now what I like to do is I like to utilize all the sheet steel that I've got. I don't like to, you know, throw good sheet steel away. So I'm going to cut this off here, and then going to offer it up and try and get some sort of size of that, and then I can cut this out. I can get it bead rolled and then get it hopefully welded in. Hopefully. Let's go. Right, the other side is done, which is good. I'm kind of hoping this side isn't as bad, but it is looking pretty crusty, in all honesty. So let's get this jacking point off first, and let's make sure we get lots of crusty noises while doing that. Okay, right, there we go. Right, this one's slightly broken, as you can see. There's not a plastic thing in there. It's not in there either. But I was going to say it doesn't look as bad, but it does. It actually looks worse. Fantastic. Okay. Yeah, okay, right. Similar situation, I'm gonna grind all this back, see what I'm playing with, of course rust, and then I'm gonna mark it out, cut it all out, fabricate some new pieces, and then that should be most of the fabrication done. Oh, it's worse, it's definitely worse. And there we have it, done. It's not perfect, but it's good enough. It does need, of course, restone chipping across here and painting, which is what we will do next. So I'm going to get the wheels on. I'm going to get everything back together. Apart from that, we need to keep that off so I can paint it properly. But we're going to get everything back together and then get it into the paint shop. Right, the last clip you guys saw, we were priming the rear quarters and the sills. Now the car's in the paint shop, we're going to paint it in the nice techno violet original colour. So Steve's just taping up, we're going to flat everything down, make it all nice and majestic and get the paint onto the car and get it looking brand new again. Right, front wings are on. Bada bing, bada boom. We've also lined the bonnet up as well, because when you take the bonnet off to slide the wing underneath, it kind of misaligns it. So that's all done, sorted, bada bing, bada boom. Obviously I've flat and polished all of this. This is all done. We've given it a nice clean, and I've just made it really dusty again with my dusty hands, but that's another thing that we need to sort out. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start on this side, jack the car back up, because I want to get all these plastic little trims on and the rear arch liners as well. So I need to take the back wheel off, get the liner in, put all these plastic things on, and then that should be this car almost complete. And there you have it, short but sweet, 2 episodes of repairing the 5 Series, and it's come out really well. Now we've done the rear arches and we've done the sills as well, and this colour is notoriously difficult to match, and we're really happy how it's turned out because it is heavy on metallic. But that's going to be it for this series and this episode. Do check out the other content that we've got on our channel, and yeah, we'll catch you in the next episode of whatever you guys decide to watch.